Are you thinking about homeschooling, but you're not sure where to start? Maybe you're a little overwhelmed, or a lot, let's be honest. um, don't know how to get started, don't know where to look, don't know anything about homeschooling. Awesome, that was me too a couple months ago. So I've made a list for 10 easy steps to help you guys get started so you can have a happy and successful homeschool journey. So the first and most important thing you're going to want to do, you want to check out your state's homeschool laws. Every state has different laws, and you want to make sure that you're in compliance with those laws so you don't get in trouble and you're doing the right thing. So if you go to hslda.org, under their legal section on their website, you can go to state homeschool laws. It's going to give you a map of the United States, and you're going to be able to click on your specific state, and it's going to list everything that's required for you to get started, what you're supposed to teach, what age your kid needs to be, if there's any paperwork you need to submit. It's a super helpful website, and there's like a ton of articles and stuff on there that might be really helpful to you. So I would definitely check out that website. It's a really good place to start. Number two, especially if you're coming from the public school system, you're going to want to give yourself time to adjust. We took about 2 weeks off from public school to when we started homeschool. It allowed my kids to kind of calm down a little bit because they're like, yay, like, you mean we don't have to go to school anymore? Like, this is so cool. And so there was just like such a novelty to it, and they thought it was the coolest thing. So it gave them a little bit of time to kind of wind down from that. And it gave them a little bit of time to get bored too. So when it was time to start, they're like, oh, cool, what are we doing? So allow yourself to adjust. Start slow. You don't need to hit the floor running, day one. Try one subject, see how it goes. Do something different the next day. Kind of see how that fits into your lifestyle, and you can kind of incorporate or mesh lessons together as you see fit. Just give yourself time to adjust. You don't feel like you got to go crazy. Take it slow. The third thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to look at, what curriculum you want for your kid. Are you wanting a Christian curriculum or some kind of other religious curriculum? What's important to you. There's a lot of companies that have like a box curriculum. They're usually a lot more pricier, and I don't really recommend those, especially if you're not familiar with the company. And by box curriculum, I mean they're going to send you like your science, your math, your reading. They're going to send you like everything you need for the year in like one box. It's like your one-stop shop. I haven't done that, but I wouldn't recommend it because you're going to end up spending a lot of money up front, and you might get it and not like it. Or you might be like, man, like their reading is really great, but the math is like a snooze fest, and like this isn't working for us. We're not getting through it. So I probably wouldn't recommend that. What I ended up doing is what you're doing now, watching videos on YouTube. I watched a bunch of different moms who were also homeschool moms. I watched them talk about what curriculum they like to use. A lot of these moms do walkthroughs on their channels as well. Those are some videos that I'm going to be uploading as well. So stick around for those if you want to follow. So they'll have certain companies. They're going to tell you what they like and why, what they don't like. They're going to do some flip throughs of the pages for you, which is really nice because it gives you an idea of what's in there, and not all curriculum is created equally. Some of it's really dry and boring, and if you have a kid that doesn't need all that extra stuff and they're good with just like a black and white sheet, cool, fine, that might be great for them. But especially if you have younger students, they might want like some pages with some color, maybe like some little cutesy animals or characters on the side or on the cover. So keep that in mind. And sometimes the worksheets can be overwhelming. I know my daughter right now, we're doing spectrum math, and the worksheets are it's like a full page, and it's just too overwhelming for her. We end up splitting it up. So I'm going to be trying a different company this upcoming year. It's a lot shorter for the lessons, and it's like a lot more colorful and engaging, and keep that in mind when you're looking at curriculum for your kid. What's going to keep them engaged and make them excited to learn. Because that's really the best thing is you want them to be excited to learn, and you don't want it to be this struggle fest of like, do your worksheet and you need to finish all these problems, and it's just like a fight back and forth. Like, try to just get something that's going to engage your kid. I would highly recommend looking at that. I know for myself, I got these on Amazon. Some of these workbooks range from like $8 up to like $20 a workbook. So there is a bit of a price range, but if you get like a $7 workbook and you absolutely hate it, you're really not out a lot of money. And don't be afraid to switch and try something different. If you're like, you know what, we absolutely hate this, it's not working for us, don't be afraid to switch, and make it enjoyable for you and your kid, or kiddos, however many you have. Also, a lot of companies will offer free curriculum. I know The Good and the Beautiful, they have a free marine biology curriculum that you can try. Oh, my puppy's coming over here. Hold on. This is Dill. Yeah, this 4-month-old puppy. Excuse him. He's a little crazy. So The Good and the Beautiful has a free marine biology program. You do have to print it out. You don't need to do all the color and stuff like that. I know it's fun, but it can be pricey. But we got through it just fine without all the color and all that stuff. It was a lot of fun. We really love The Good and the Beautiful for their science units. So a lot of companies do offer some free units, or they offer kind of like a sample that you can try. So I highly recommend looking for that before you decide to buy a curriculum from them. That was really helpful for us. Like I said, we did The Good and the Beautiful marine biology. Totally loved it. It was free, and now we just bought some more. So we're having a blast. Love that company. Number 4. I'm so sorry, my dog. Oh, he's like eating my slipper. So the fourth thing, and this is optional, is decide your homeschool space. So some people like to have like a whole room dedicated to their homeschool. They like to have a certain part of the house. Some people like to set things up to make it look like very schoolroom, kind of what you would see in like a traditional public school setting. Totally optional. This is my little setup back here. It's not much. I got this little bookshelf on Amazon for about $130. So it's a little bit more pricey, but I use it exclusively for homeschool. I have 3 kids. They all get a cubby on the top. And then like we have storage for like other things they utilize, or pencils. I have my own little cubby that I use for my stuff. So that's what I use. You don't have to do that. If you want to just go buy some bins from the dollar store just to put your workbooks in, that works too. Don't compare yourself to like these homeschool moms that like have like these massive rooms, like these beautiful homeschool rooms. They have like tons of stuff, and you're like, man, like how can I homeschool my kids if I don't have that? Because that was me. And I'm like watching these, they're amazing moms on YouTube, absolutely amazing. But a lot of them have been doing it for a long time, and they've kind of built up their collection of stuff. But it's intimidating, like you see all this and you're like, I don't have the money for that, and I can't afford that. And I'm in an apartment, a 2-bedroom apartment. I don't have a homeschool space, so get a bookshelf, a tote, go to the dollar store, something you can just like set your books in, or your kid can have like one place just to kind of set everything in to keep it organized. You're good to go there. Some people, like I don't have a homeschool space, like I said, so we do a lot of stuff on the couch, on the kitchen table. Sometimes we'll all pile up on my bed and do it there. I'll get with one of the kids in their room. It really just depends. Some people like to go outside when it's nice. I'm in Arizona, so it's only nice weather like 2 months out of the year. The rest of it is unbearably hot, so we're never outside. But you know, if you guys like to be outside and you like to do that sort of thing, get outside. Totally up to you. You know, make it's your journey. Make it what you want. You know, there's no rules. I mean, like there's state law rules, but you know, how you teach and like what you do. Like you just make your own thing. Make it fun. Let's see, the number 5, storage and record keeping. Not all states require you to keep records. My state does not. However, I do because I just think it would be like the smart thing to do, especially, you know, when they get to like high school age and I need to make a transcript. I know nothing about that yet. My oldest is 10, so we got a long ways to go. But these are just some of the things I've heard from other moms. You know, you make a transcript if they do decide to go off to college or whatnot. Like, they need a transcript, which you can make. Gosh, my dog's like really going to town on my slippers. So you can make a transcript. And by records, I don't mean like, I guess it's going to depend on your state. My state doesn't require records, so I don't really have like a best practice to that. But if your state doesn't require records like mine, oh geez, Pickle, he just wants to say hi. He is a, what are you, Pickle? Yellow Lab and Golden Retriever mix. He's 4 months old and he's very cute, and he knows it. He's very cute and bossy, as you can see. Pickle, say hi. Say hi. And he likes to chew. So yeah, I thought he had my wedding ring for a second. Thank God. So definitely, if your state doesn't require records like mine doesn't, you know, just keep samples of their work. Like I have like a 2-tier filing system, like those filing cabinets. After they complete a workbook, I just put it in their file, and I keep all that for them. Let's see. And then I kind of touched on it before, like storage. Like just have a place where you can put your stuff. Doesn't need to be this big or elaborate. Go to the Dollar Tree. Get a little basket that they can throw their workbooks in. Don't need to spend a lot of money. Keep it simple. Number 6, you could set a schedule or a planner. I'm losing stuff over here. I don't set a schedule because I can't stick to a schedule. Every day is different. Sometimes we have like a bunch of appointments going on or errands, and like we're running around, and sometimes the schedule just doesn't work, guys. If we're like, okay, we're gonna get A, B, and C done, and then like we just had a crazy day or somebody's sick. Well, you know what? If we got A and B done, great. C can wait another day. Like it's not a big deal. So I don't really go off of a schedule. Some people plan it out like Monday, Tuesdays are like, you know, reading, writing, math. Wednesdays is math and science. Thursdays is history. Fridays is handwriting and computer, like typing. I'm not that organized. I'm not that good at that. So we just kind of go with the flow. I'm like, okay, like we should do some math today. Or maybe we're doing a science unit and we really love it. You know, it's like, let's do science 2 days in a row. Like, you know, we just, in my house, we just go with the flow and kind of with what we're into. Or if it's like, man, it's been 2 or 3 days since we did math. Like, we need to do some math here. Also, I have a planner that I use. It's very pretty, but it's not my favorite planner. Just because, let me show you guys here. Like, it has, like, your day. I'll, like, take attendance and I'll kind of say what we did that day. But I have one day to kind of write everything I did for each kid. So I try to usually, like, if we're doing reading, then every kid does their reading workbook. Math, every kid does math. Sometimes somebody wants to do something extra, so then it's like, okay, these kids did this, and then this kid also did this. So it can kind of be like a lot of writing. I like to keep track of it, just what they do. Not my favorite planner. I kind of need like a bunch of sections, like for one kid, and then I can write like all kinds of stuff. But this is my first planner. It's doing its job for now. But like I said, I don't plan things out ahead of time. I actually don't fill this out until after the school day is done, like the end of the night. I'll say what we did, not what we planned on doing. And then that helps me keep track and keeps me accountable of what we're going over and what I'm teaching them. So that's just how I like to do it. The 7th tip is some parents, when they start homeschooling their kids, they have a lot of questions about where their kid is, especially if you're taking them out mid-year. Like where does my kid fall? Like, do they need to move up a grade, down a grade? Are they right on track? Or even just during the middle of your homeschool process, is my kid on track? A lot of us have those questions. Like, am I doing enough to make sure they're learning? Are they on track and with their peers? There's a lot of different websites that you can visit that offer placement testing. I personally don't do that, and I haven't done it. I did take my kids out mid-year, and I pretty much just bought their workbooks for whatever grade level they were in. But I did have one daughter who I already knew was really advanced in reading and like spelling, so I just bought her the next grade level up because there was no point in keeping her stagnant in that subject when she was just flying through it. So I actually bumped her up a whole grade level. And then I had another daughter who we just needed to slow down a little bit. And there was a lot of words for her spelling and stuff we needed to re-review. So I bought her one grade level down. And so we're just taking it a little bit slower. So what's really cool about homeschooling is you can really individualize their education. When you're in the public school system, and I know they have like those accelerated courses, if your kid's more advanced in math, they can kind of put them in those accelerated classes, but they're still being held to, that level, whatever that level is for that class. You might have a kid that really excels in it, and like, why keep them in a box? If they're ready to move forward a grade level or two in a subject, why not? It's going to challenge them. It's going to keep them interested rather than them being stagnant in a grade level. Also, on the flip side, if you have a kid that's struggling, maybe they have a learning disability, and you just need to slow it down. Don't feel bad that you're jumping back a grade level and you're doing review or you're re-reviewing stuff and you're just taking it slow. When you're in public school, they have the grade levels and the testing to compare all the children together. And not everybody's going to learn at the same pace. Not everybody's a visual learner. Some kids are hands-on. So don't feel like you need to compare your kids or compare your kids to the public school system. If it takes your kid, come on, Pickle, go play. You know what? If it takes you guys like 3 months to learn multiplication, it takes you 3 months to learn multiplication. If it takes you the whole year to learn multiplication, like, keep working on it. Don't stress yourself out and don't stress your kid out because you feel like, oh my gosh, in 3rd grade or 4th grade, like, you're supposed to have your multiplication table memorized. If you don't, like, okay, like, you just work on it at your kid's pace. Don't stress each other out, because if you're making it a stressful environment, like, your kid's not going to want to learn. They're just going to shut down, and that's been my experience. So it's like, what, we're just going to slow down, we're going to step back, and we're just going to keep working on this. And it's quality over quantity. So I would rather take the time with my kids and spend the time with them to get them to really understand something wholeheartedly, rather than just trying to push them through it and scrape by just to get them to the next lesson because we need to stay on track, for that grade level. It's like, no, like, we're just going to slow it down. And if it takes us a while, it takes us a while. I'd rather you actually understand it than us scrape by. This is my personal philosophy, quality over quantity. Let's see, number 8, and this is really great, utilize your local library. If you do not have a library card, find your local library, get a library card. Check out books, whether you want them to read certain books. If you want to do a read aloud with them, get the book from the library. Don't buy the books. Unless like it's something you really like and enjoy and you think you're going to read 10 times over. Otherwise, just try to find it at the library. If it's not at the library, try to find it at a used bookstore. There's some homeschool stores that might be in your area that do like book exchanges. Look for like free resources like that, or very low cost. Homeschooling does not need to be like this big, expensive, fancy thing. You can totally do it on a budget. You know, I'm a single mom with 3 kids. Don't make, I'm not a millionaire. I'm in my 2-bedroom apartment. So, just make it work. Also, like we get really excited about a subject. Like we were doing the Good and the Beautiful marine biology, and we were learning about just like the different animals that live in the different zones of the ocean. They were super interested in that, so I had them pick an animal from each zone, and we went to the library and got books on those animals so that they could research further because they really enjoyed it. So utilize those free resources. There's also a ton of websites online, guys, that just provide free stuff. One of the first things we did, I don't know the website off the top of my head. I just typed in like free homeschool or something like that. Was it the American Beaver? It was just like a couple pages about the American Beaver, and then it gave us some worksheets to do that were really fun, a coloring page, like an activity where you can cut and color, which is really good for kids that really want to be hands-on or are younger. It gave us some ideas of books we could read. It gave us some links to like some YouTube videos, which we really enjoyed. I think it was actually National Geographic Kids was the video, and it was actually really, like, I was on the edge of the couch because I'm like, this is really interesting about the American beaver. It was actually pretty cool. So utilize those free resources, and there's so much stuff on YouTube, guys. If my kids will ask me something, and I'm like, I don't know, let's look it up. Let's see if there's a video. And a lot of times you can get like a really good quality educational video on certain things. So we do that all the time. Free. Free's the way to go. It's totally doable. Free and low cost. Number 9, buy things as you go. When I started out, I'm like, I want this. I need to get like all these colored pencils and crayons, which I actually did do. That's back here. I did buy some stuff, okay, because I knew we were going to use it, like colored pencils, crayons, markers. I got pens, notebooks. But those are just some basic stuff that you're going to use. Pencils, of course, erasers. Those are your basic stuff that you're going to use. But then I was like, I need this whiteboard. Like, I got this big, huge whiteboard that, like, I don't even use. And then every time I think about using it, I'm like, well, I just figure out another way to do it. And it's just, I had this, like, spot in my apartment. I wanted it mounted on the wall, and I told my fiance, like, can you please hang this up for me? And we, like, figured out where it was going to go. And then, like, last minute, I'm like, no, actually, like, I like to, like, write on it. And, like, I was carrying it around with me because sometimes we'd be at the kitchen table, or we'd be sitting on the couch, and I could just like carry this whiteboard around and set it up against like the coffee table. I'd write definitions on there for vocabulary and stuff like that. Pickles, you cannot bite. Pickles. Serenity, can you get him a toy? Yeah. This dog, you guys, he's so darn cute, but he's a little handful, but he's a ham. He's worth it, I guess. And he knows it. He knows he's worth it. So buy things as you go. You don't just buy things as needed, I kind of have a bad habit with buying stuff and trying to do too much at once. Like I kind of we're doing like the human body. We're doing like a unit on the human body. We're doing reptiles. We're doing 50 states. and history. Like, we're just kind of doing a lot at once, and I kind of just get really excited about stuff, and I'm like, let's do this, and and I think sometimes it's a little too much. So if you do buy things, it's okay to hold on to them. You don't need to like do everything right away, because now that we're like into a couple things at the same time, I'm kind of like, this is a little much, and it's just kind of hard to juggle everything. So I've learned that lesson. But buy things as you go. Like I have like these counting bears. I don't know if you can see over here. Like I have counting bears, stuff that you feel like is really going to help your kids. Go ahead and buy that. Especially if you feel like you're going to keep it around for a while. But I even thought like, oh my God, like, do I need like desks for my kids? Like, do I need like, I need to get like the ABCs on the walls and like that kind of stuff. And I'm like, I don't need any of that. Like, I'm so glad I didn't buy any of that, because, that would have just been a waste. So, just buy as you go. If you have a need for it, get it then. Don't buy a bunch of stuff right off the bat. And then number 10, do not compare your homeschool to public homeschool. Homeschool is typically, the point of it is to be radically different from the public school system. So public, dog, goodness gracious. We're doing workbooks now. Pickles, go over there. Sardi, can you call him over? Hey. Oh, he's cute and he knows it, guys. So, don't compare your homeschool to the public school system. And that's really hard to do, because I knew like, okay, in 3rd grade, my oldest daughter learned about the solar system. And like, we haven't done that yet for my other kids. Like, they're supposed to be learning about solar system in this grade. And it's like, no, slow down. Those science and kind of stuff, those science lessons, like, don't feel like, oh, my friend over here, her kid's learning about the Amazon rainforest in 2nd grade, and you're like, oh my God, my kid's in 4th grade and they haven't learned about that yet. Don't compare yourself to that. It's going to be totally different. Your homeschool also doesn't need to be like an 8 to 3 kind of setting. Homeschool is usually done in like 2 to 3 hours. You'll find that you get stuff done so much quicker when you're working with not a huge classroom. So it's not this whole long day thing. It doesn't need a model school at all, like the public school system. My kids sleep in till like 8, 9 o'clock. I work full-time during the day at home. So yes, I do work full-time, 40 hours a week, and I homeschool my kids. It can be done. People think I'm crazy, and I might be a little bit, but aren't we all a little crazy? So, you don't need to compare it. We actually do a homeschool when I get off work. So it's in the afternoon, like later in the afternoon. Sometimes we do it after dinner. Sometimes we do it on a Sunday. It really just, it's going to be different for everybody's household and what works for you and your schedule. Maybe you and your spouse work opposite schedules so that you can homeschool. Totally an option. But don't compare yourself. My homeschool looks nothing like public school. And that really honestly was the point. My kids were going to public school and they were coming home after being gone for 7 hours. They were so burnt out. They were tired. They were starving because they got like 10 minutes of lunchtime to eat. And so I have these cranky, crabby, starving kids. And then it came to doing homework, and it's like, it's pulling teeth. Like, they don't want to do it. And it was just not a good experience for us. So, we don't start homeschool till later in the day. You can absolutely have your kid do some independent work, like notebook stuff or workbooks if you're working. There's definitely stuff that they can do independently. For us, what we do right now, I let them do their thing during the day while I'm working. They do their thing. They watch, a movie. They watch their shows. They might choose to start working on something. But I don't really make it official till I get off of work, because I want to sit down with them, give them that attention that they need. My kids are only 7, 9, and 10. Like my little one needs like a lot of like one-on-one attention. So it's really just going to depend on how independent your kid is, how interested they are in the subject. So just don't compare yourself to public school. Please don't. And don't compare yourself to other homeschool parents, because you're going to find that you're going to do things that they don't do and vice versa. Nothing's wrong or right. It's what works for you, what works for your family, and what works for just your household. So best wishes on your homeschool journey. If this video was helpful, please give it a like. Go ahead and subscribe because I will be coming out with some more videos. I'm going to be doing walkthroughs of curriculum. You know, I have some other ideas. My kids are going to get involved. They're really excited as well. So you'll get to meet them. You already met the puppy, who's obviously a handful. So you got 3 kids to meet and you got a cat to meet. So stick around and I hope to see you in the next video.